यौम यकजहती कश्मीर के हवाले से इस्लामाबाद में सेमिनार जारी है और वहाँ पे सदर ममलिकत आरिफ अलवी खिताब कर रहे हैं।
They went under humiliation, they went through atrocities, and they did not end. And the principle of the division of Pakistan and India, which should have divided India and Pakistan in a manner where the Muslim majority states should have access to Pakistan, did not happen. India went to the United Nations looking for a ceasefire when the people of Kashmir had risen against it. People of Kashmir had risen against the Dogra illegal treaty of accession to India. People of Kashmir historically, under a shameful act, the whole valley was sold to the Dogra ruler in the middle of the 19th century, and they had been suffering. The division of India and Pakistan, and I remember reading about the time when the Boundary Commission members of the Pakistan, members from the Muslim League were in the Boundary Commission, and they came to Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah and told him that the way Gurdaspur and certain districts were being given to India is a sinister move by which India will have access to Kashmir, which is Muslim-dominated Jammu and Kashmir. And Quaid-e-Azam felt that if that process is going to be stopped, we may not have Pakistan, and he made a statement that we want Pakistan at every cost and we'll struggle for Kashmir later. Since India went to the United Nations and talked about a ceasefire and promised self-determination to the people of Kashmir, Pakistan trusted the United Nations and United Nations resolutions, one of which we celebrate today, that was passed in 1949 on 5th February 1949, and that reiterated the previous resolution which talked about self-determination for the people of Kashmir. Kashmir, therefore, is an unsettled issue of the division of Pakistan and India. As Quaid-e-Azam pointed to the fact that Kashmir is the jugular of Pakistan. Pakistan ki shay rag Kashmir hai. And we stand by those words today. But Kashmir, again, as it was pointed out here from this stage, is not a matter of land, is not a matter of geography, it's a matter of people of Kashmir who are suffering tremendously in the last 70 years, piled upon historical sufferings of the past few centuries. So Pakistan stands by them. Atrocities, you heard the detail about what was being said. Rape as a weapon, where incidents have been reported that rape is done in households in front of the people living in those houses, just to demoralize, just to make sure that the messages go through, just to denigrate, just to insult the people of Kashmir. Rape is being used as a weapon. There are more than 100,000 killings in the past few decades. The incidents of blinding and mass burial. And I believe very strongly that the pellet guns, I challenge India to use pellet guns against any other population within India. It is only being used in Kashmir to suppress the people of Kashmir. What a shameful act. Can you imagine? Tear gas could be used for safety, not to blind people, not to kill people in such a manner, where hundreds are blinded, even children mentioned here, children got blinded in the protection of the arms of their mothers, they have been blinded. It is remarkable to see that the people of Kashmir, the world should recognize what is happening in Kashmir. It is remarkable to see that when the Indian forces surround a house of a freedom fighter in any village of Kashmir, the Kashmiris as a population come out and start obstructing the Indian forces. Unarmed people, they come out and start protecting the freedom fighters. In villages, hundreds of thousands of people come out and start protecting the fighters. Can't India see what is happening? All columnists in India, many of the opinion makers of India, in fact you heard Arundhati Roy, there is a statement which she made which was not projected here. There is a statement she made that Kashmir is no longer a part of India. Every delegation, impartial delegation from India which visits Kashmir comes back and tells the people of India that Kashmir is not with India anymore. How many? With 700,000 forces, members of the army being there, 1 out of every 10 Kashmiris to control them, and as mentioned here, that at the same time they say there is there are less than 1,000 freedom fighters. People resort to violence, people have resorted to violence in Kashmir when all other avenues have been closed. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't suppress people for the sake of religion. You can't suppress people, you label them something different, you can't suppress people. And European history is a testimony to that. The Jews were suppressed by the Nazi regime, but did it matter? Despite the fact that the millions died, the fire still burned. You can't suppress people, and the history of Palestine is very similar to that of Kashmir. Children are born, there's nothing to be ashamed of when people pick up stones, because historically, in the Bible, David and Goliath, the story, the fact that the slingshot was used, when people are unarmed, that's the only thing which is their access throughout the world. It's stone throwers are people in Kashmir who have no choice. They know that they are facing guns. They know that in a few moments firing may start. The only thing they have, these young people, and I salute them, they stand against Indian aggression. They stand against Indian atrocities, knowing the fact that in the next instant they might get killed. It is surprising. It is remarkable, and I was very impressed when a few decades ago the images started coming out, when every Kashmiri who dies in this manner is buried with the Pakistan flag. I am proud of that Kashmir. How many more signs they would give to India that they don't want any part of India. They want Kashmir to align itself with Pakistan. But we have been disappointed over the years. India uses every excuse to get out of that. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru made a statement that if we allow plebiscite, the Kashmiris will vote for Pakistan, and therefore it is not possible for them to allow plebiscite. Then after the Shimla Accord, even in the Shimla Accord, it was agreed upon that bilateral discussions will take place regarding Kashmir. Kashmir was mentioned. Bilateral discussions will take place, but they did not happen, not at any stage. And over the years, whenever I've been on television talking about Kashmir, I have been expressing my dissatisfaction with the fact that on every excuse India withdraws, doesn't want to talk to Pakistan. And after 9/11, it hung on to an excuse that all this is a terrorist battle. It is not. It is an indigenous struggle of the Kashmiris, laying down their lives in hundreds of thousands and getting blinded and getting raped, despite the fact that, and despite that, they stand up for Kashmir. And I think that is where India is losing today. That is where India will not succeed today. People express their will in all forms. People express their will. There are tears in our eyes when we saw images of what was happened. What happened to Burhan Wani, who was a social media activist, and forced to pick up guns, because if you don't recognize it, you rape people, you kill them, you have mass graves, you have mass burial sites, and what people can do, you cannot continue to tolerate. So I can understand when they pick up the arms. Pakistan does not want to, Pakistan wants that it would like to support the struggle of the people of Kashmir against Indian occupation, and it wants to support it morally, ethically, in all forms. And at the same time, I would like to urge people across the border, because this message from Pakistan goes out to all of Kashmir. I would urge people across the border to use the social media as effectively as Burhan Wani has used to tell the world what is being done. Because India has not allowed that to happen. India is hiding everything. And I challenge India today that if it is not hiding anything, why is it that it closes down its internet when anything happens? Only yesterday the Prime Minister of India went to Kashmir, and the images which you saw reflected very clearly that Kashmir doesn't want to be a part of India at all. I believe that despite all that, despite India being away, I am proud of the fact that the new government, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, on this issue, let me tell people, while Kashmir is used as a football in India when elections come, Pakistan is united. Every party is united on the issue of Kashmir. There is no difference, and there will never be a difference between us, among ourselves. We may have differences on other issues, but on Kashmir we stay united, and I thank you, Dr. Ehsan Iqbal Sahab, for having said that. And India should know that as a fact. While in India, the oppression of Muslims, the BJP uses that to divide India within India itself, and also to use Kashmir as a football this way and that way, just to show. And this visit was a reflection of the same thing. I believe that throughout the last 70 years, Pakistan has always offered a hand of peace. This government, the change of governments is an opportunity internationally to be able to look at things from a new perspective, and very promptly, as soon as the Prime Minister of Pakistan got elected, he offered a hand of peace to India, which was rejected in a very whimsical and belligerent manner. But it doesn't matter. Pakistan wants peace. Pakistan wants peace in this region. But every negotiation on peace will have to start on Kashmir, despite the fact that India has used terrorism as an excuse. And despite the fact that every time when we talk about Kashmir and we talk about negotiations, India brings up this issue of terrorism. Kashmir is not a terrorist issue. Kashmir is an issue of a promise which was made by India, and Kashmir is an issue of atrocities being committed on the people of Kashmir, and Kashmir is an issue of people who want to express their solidarity with Pakistan. They want Azadi. That's a huge cry which resonates throughout the world. I am surprised by the fact that the international community has also ignored these issues. I am thankful to the countries which have supported us, and I am thankful to the Organization of Islamic Conference which has supported us, and the countries who have supported this cause. I believe that it will continue to happen in Palestine and Kashmir, that the child, as soon as it is born, as soon as it can pick up a stone, will use that stone to cry for liberation. I believe as the world sleeps, we must shake their conscience. I believe that the people across the border, my friends, my brothers who are living down their lives across the border, I believe that they must use every forum possible in social media to propagate their misery, to tell the world, to show that the images to the world what is happening. But at the same time, I would urge the United Nations to live up to its promises which have been made to the people of Kashmir. The President of the UN General Assembly, when she visited Pakistan recently, I urged her that now, after the report which has come out with the Human Rights Commission, which has talked about the brutalities which are being done there, I have urged her to send a fact-finding commission to Kashmir, and which has been requested by the Commission itself. I believe that the other organizations are also taking note. But it is up to Pakistan and up to the people of Kashmir and the people who sympathize with the cause of Kashmir to lift these issues. Amnesty International has looked at it and given reports. Human Rights Watch has given reports on what is being done in Kashmir. Asia Watch, the International Committee of the Red Cross, and now finally the Office of the UN High Commissioner of Human Rights, which has published a report. And I think this is the right time, and I urge the UN Secretary General to send a fact-finding commission on Kashmir to Srinagar, to India, to look at things. If India does not have anything to hide, there is no reason why it closes its borders to journalists coming from throughout the world or to fact-finding commissions which come from throughout the world. I think this is a good day to demand from India a few demands which I have written down, and I believe that we at Pakistan, short of immediate plebiscite, these demands are for the immediate future which India must look into. The first is that we demand that all political prisoners in Indian occupied Kashmir must be released. There is no reason that India can hold on to political prisoners. Let them be free in society to talk to people, to express what they want. Number two, I believe that India should give the people of Kashmir the freedom of expression, which is the foundation of the UN Charter, which is the foundation of all constitutions in the world. India must give the freedom of expression, the right of freedom of expression to the people of Kashmir. Number three, that India should stop use of weapons against the civilians in Kashmir. The way the brutality has been continuing, India must stop using them. Number four, the most heinous of weapons, the pellet gun, the use of pellet guns must be banned by the world and must be stopped by India. They should not use it on the people, innocent people of Kashmir. Number five, we demand the withdrawal of the black laws, the primary one being the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, which allows the armed forces not to be questioned, which allows the armed forces to continue with brutalities and not to be tried. I think India must withdraw that act. Somebody mentioned the fact that the Article 370 of the Indian Constitution, we don't recognize Article 370. We think Kashmir should have been free. India put up an article just to appease the Muslims of Kashmir in the earlier days, just to appease them, but their attempt to withdraw Article 370 has been rejected by the Kashmir High Court as well as the Indian Supreme Court. I think that's a defeat which is very clearly against what India wants to do. Number six is we demand that India must allow the leaders of Indian occupied Kashmir to travel abroad, as it was mentioned here by Mishal Malik also and other people. Unless these people, if India thinks that everything is hunky-dory, there is no reason why it should stop the travel of the Indian occupied Kashmir leaders. So they should open up, allow them to travel, not to confiscate their passports, and they should be free to move and talk to the world what is happening. Number seven is to allow human rights organization and representatives to visit Kashmir, and last but not the least, to open Indian occupied Kashmir to international media and not to suppress the social media whereby people are able to communicate with people throughout the world. I would like in the end
इस्लामाबाद में सदर ममलिकत डॉक्टर आरिफ अलवी का यौमी यकजहती कश्मीर के हवाले से मुनक़दा तक़रीब से खिताब इस वक्त जारी है। उन्होंने कहा कि भारत जितनी कोशिश कर ले कश्मीरियों की आवाज़ को नहीं दबाया जा सकता।